Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the user interface presentation of the CSIT321 group JL-DF-15 about the Deepfake Warning Application. Today we have me, Vietai, Huy Minh, Quang Minh, An Giang, and Iman and Lam. So now we go to the presentation. The presentation structure will go through the design methodologies, application requirement, user interface walkthrough. So firstly, the design methodologies. About the system design and development methodologies, we are using Agile with Scrum framework, which emphasize on the continuous design and continuous development of the system. And for the user interface specifically, we are using user-centered design and design thinking. Put in simple terms, they are putting the user in the focus, which means that we are designing the user interface for the user, for them to easily use the application as much as possible. And also we are using the simplicity design methodology, which means that the interface is simple but intuitive for the user. And so we go to the application requirement. For the application requirement, after gathering the user stories, we have defined four core requirements. They are account management, educational content about deepfake for the user, audio file deepfake detection, which means that the user can upload the audio file to the application to check if the file contain any deepfake content, and real-time call deepfake detection within application, meaning that two user using the application can initiate the call between them, and then the call will be checked in real time if they contain any deepfake content or not. And that is the end of the presentation about the design methodology and application requirement. Now we are going to look at the user interface on Figma.
I will now be presenting the first iteration of the high-fidelity user interface and user experience prototype that our team has designed. We designed this interface in Figma, and I will be showcasing the mock-up of all the features and functionalities that are integrated into this application. So as can be seen over here, this is our overall design prototype. And from this interface, we connected all the functions to demonstrate how each page interacts with one another and how the final product, which is the mobile application, should perform. So diving deeper into this prototype, we start with the onboarding page. This is where all operations will start. So first of all, user has the option to choose either to sign in or register a new account. For new users, they will choose the register option. Over here, we have all the necessary input fields to create a user account, such as full username and then their email or phone number. And then for password, they will need to confirm this password to be able to register an account. For users that already have an account, they will choose the sign in option. And the user will need to enter the phone number or email and password to be able to sign in to their account. Once they are successfully signed in, this is the page that they will be taken to. This is our application's dashboard or main page. And this is the first one that they will see when they are logged into the application. So up here in the dashboard, we have the personal statistics for user that showcase the statistics of all calls that have happened within the last 7 days and how many of that is deepfake detected. So in the prototype, we have included a 35% deepfake detection out of all 17 calls. So a bit below that will be the call history that record all calls, and over here will be the missed calls. In the recent calls, we can have access to the contact info of each number. So over here, we can see the number of the caller we can choose to call the contact again, and then we can share or create new contact or add to existing contact. Below that a bit will be the option to block the contact or report contact if we suspect that this is spam or this is deepfake. So going back, we will move on to the upload page. So over here is the function for uploading files to detect any sign of deepfake. We can browse files on device and then upload a file. If we are not happy with the file that we uploaded, we can go back and upload another file. So once we have had our file over here, we can start the detecting process. For the defect detection functionality, it should return a result that says whether or not this has been deepfaked or not. So over here, we have a positive result of deepfake. We will move on to the contact page. This is the contact list. We have created a scroll list that and has all the lettering option to access the contact. We will continue to search for a contact. So over here, we search for Alex Smith. This is the personal details of each contact. We have their full name and their phone number and the call log that has happened recently. We can edit any information over here and then save the information. And then once we call that number, the defect detection functionality will be detecting as the call is in progress to return a result that says whether or not this caller ID is safe. So going back to the contact option, we can add a new contact over here. We can put in the prefix for the contact, their first name, their last name, and the phone number. And similarly, we have the call history over here. And then we can go back to the contact and call a new number as well. So when we put in a new number over here, we will call them, and then we can have the result of the deepfake detection functionality while the call is in progress. For a different number, for example, when we call this number, when there is deepfake detected, this pop-up window will turn up to give us the option to either end the call immediately or dismiss the notification. It is recommended from our team that the call ends immediately. And then that number will go into the dashboard page and logged into the call history. Once a number is calling us, we can either accept or decline the call. So we will accept the call, and then the defect detection will be doing its job and tell us whether or not the caller ID is safe. So for this one, it is. But in a different scenario, when this number calls us, for example, it might be deepfaked, and then once again, the pop-up window will appear to give us the option to end the call immediately. And that is the end of the calling function. When we choose the educational page, we have a dashboard of all the articles or videos that will provide educational materials on, for example, from this website ScamWatch. So it will be an article to how to make Australia a harder target for scammers. And these are the tips and advice. For example, do not give money or personal information to anyone if unsure. So going back to the dashboard, finally, we have the settings option. So this is our personal account. That is the end of our prototype presentation.